Welcome back to the Y.E.S Fitness Longevity Podcast, where we give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, and live better. Hi, I'm Chris from down here at Y.E.S Fitness, and today's podcast, we have a special guest. We have the creator of our Drop 2 Jean Size Challenge, or D2S. For those people who don't know what D2S is, it's a simple challenge where we have people come in our door, we have jeans, they cannot button, a couple inches apart, and 8 weeks later, they can button them, they can wear them, and they walk out the door feeling comfortable. But this challenge is really more than just getting people into their jeans. It has a lot to do with empowering people, teaching people how to eat correctly, sleep correctly, all the things that you need to do to live a better life. So, as I said this morning, we have the creator of the Drop 2 G Size Challenge, Rachel Cosgrove. And Rachel is known as the fitness expert to women. She is an expert in coaching women, and I'm going to give you a little bit of bio on her so you have an idea of who she is, and then we'll get right into this. So Rachel was the 2012 IDEA Personal Trainer of the Year. She co-owns and operates Results Fitness. It's a fitness center in Southern California, and over the past, I think, 19 years now?
Almost 19, yep.
Almost 19 years. Results Fitness was named one of the top gyms in the United States by Men's Health 3 years in a row, could be longer now, and voted Women's Best Gym by Women's Health magazine in 2011. Rachel has a bachelor's degree in physiology from the University of California. She has multiple certifications. She's a strength and conditioning coach from the National Strength and Conditioning Association, the International Society of Sports Nutrition, USA Weightlifting, Functional Movement Screen, Precision Nutrition, quite a list. She is featured in many magazines: Muscle and Fitness, Hers, Men's Fitness, Men's Health, Women's Running Oxygen, and more. She is also has her own column and then on the advisory board of a Women's Health magazine. She's a consultant for Nike. She's also a consultant for Secret Deodorant, Gatorade, Livestrong, Women's Health, and Men's Magazine. And finally, she is the best-selling author of two books, The Female Body Breakthrough, and her book, the second book of Drop 2 Jean Sizes, a proven plan to ditch the scale, get the body you want, and wear the clothes you love. So good morning, Rachel. Thank you very much for coming on board with us.
Good morning. That was a thorough bio. Thank you for all of the accolades. Yes.
I just want them to understand that we're on with a true icon in the fitness industry right now. You are known as
to be here.
Female trainer.
Well, thank you.
So give us a little idea of who Rachel Cosgrove is other than the bio.
So Drop 2 Sizes was something that, as you mentioned, we own a gym that we've had open for going on 19 years. And it was something I came up with as I was working with the women that come into our gym and trying to find a solution to, really how I could help them, how I could get them to where they wanted to be, how I could get better results. And so realizing, talking to a lot of the women that were coming into our gym, that a lot of them were very focused on the scale and focused on, whether or not whatever that scale said, that was going to be, whether they were getting results or not. And because of the way our programming is and because of what we do, I started to realize that a lot of these women had been on crash diets throughout their lifetime. They had, done a number of low-calorie diets. They'd lost weight and lost muscle. And so our number one job was to help them to gain that muscle back to get their metabolism going. And so really looking for a solution to help them to do that. And so Drop 2 Sizes was something that I came up with. I mean, it started with my journey way back when I come from a family who struggles with obesity. And, so I always was looking for the answer. And so that's where my initial findings came from, were my own journey, and then starting to work with clients and throughout my studies and, really landing on this program, which, has been a breakthrough. I just love it because it's such a breakthrough for so many of our clients.
So we've run the program for 5 years now. I know you guys have run it for close to a decade. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced with the women doing this program?
I'd say the hardest thing is really shifting from what women have been programmed to do, which every woman, including myself, has been programmed to look at a scale, and that tells us, if what we're doing, if our efforts are working. And so if that scale says a certain number, then we're happy. If it doesn't, then we're not happy. And so that's, really getting away from that, which is years and years and years of programming. And I think it takes some time to, to unprogram that. And then also, just counting every calorie, fat gram, point. I think so many of the plans that many of us have been on, the roads we've been down, have, got us taught that, if we count every whatever, whatever
Right.
the thing is for that diet, and get obsessive. And I think, that's really the hardest thing is, I think, overcoming the years of programming that have already, been wired into our heads, and really finding a new approach and being open to that, and being open to having, that it's not a black and white, off and on, I'm going to follow this plan and it's going to be super strict, because, during Drop 2 Sizes, we do encourage people to plan out and have a splurge and enjoy themselves and make that part of the plan, because that's, life. And so that's my goal, is to really give people the tools to be able to change their life long term. And it's not just a 6-week or 8-week or 12-week program, right? It's this is for life. And so really setting them up with the habits to be able to continue to do this for the long term.
One of the things that we have found with D2S, that you certainly can give someone a diet and they can follow us for a certain period of time, and they may get some results, they may not get results, and they may be able to follow for 6 weeks, 6 months to a year. But at some point in time, that diet just crashes, because we haven't created a lifestyle in your eating program that they can maintain for a long period of time. And I've had so many women tell me that, wow, this is really not that hard to do.
Right.
Wow, I'm not hungry. I'm allowed to eat, and I'm allowed to eat some things that I would think that I wouldn't be allowed to eat. So the whole nutrition portion of it is extremely simple to do, and it's something that people have found that they actually enjoy and that they've been able to maintain past the program, which is one of the biggest goals of the program, is to really get that person to learn the lifestyle that they can maintain over the long term.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's about that, making it realistic for them, for sure.
One of the other tools that we use, other than some nutrition and diet recall, is that we get together and we have meetings all together in a group, together with all the people in the program. It might be 15, 20 people. We sit around and we do teach them in that, but we also go over the things and the struggles that they've had, and some of the struggles and some of the successes that they've been able to have that week and throughout the program. Of the nutrition struggles, what would you say maybe were the 1 or 2 biggest ones that people have to overcome, hurdles?
Yeah, and I think those accountability meetings, a lot of, like you were saying, what's surprising about the program, I think for so many of our clients, they think, I don't know about the accountability meetings. I don't know if I'm going to need them. And then they realize that's the most important part. And so, having that to check in on, to have the support of the other people that are doing the program and the coaches, that's really one of the most powerful parts of this program, is really taking advantage of that. And so for sure, those accountability meetings are huge. And so during those, we share, definitely challenges each week. And I would say some of the number one, challenges would be a lot of people learning to eat more vegetables, figuring out how to eat vegetables or how to cook them, or, thinking about some of the different options when it comes to vegetables. And so I think that's always eye-opening to go, oh, okay, this is a way I can do this, or, learning some new ideas when it comes to actually adding some more vegetables into their program. And then also nutritionally, of course, water intake is always something that comes up, so I call it our fat burning liquid. And if, you're not motivated to drink your fat burning liquid, that's, hopefully will help. Because you do want to if you're not hydrated, your body's not going to want to perform the way you want it to, and you're not going to be able to get the results you want. So, and those are simple things, right? So, how easy is that? Just get some vegetables in and drink some water, right? Some of the other things I would say is definitely surprisingly, it's not always nutrition, right? Like looking at sleep, and how are you sleeping, and starting to look at some of your other habits that, again, it's not about drastically changing, eating, super low calorie and restricting yourself. It's actually looking at some of the ways that you can really take care of yourself to get the results that you're looking for.
I think as we looked at some of the nutrition hurdles that they've had to overcome, one is the fact that eating multiple times during the day and eating that much food is important. that you
Yeah.
don't want to be very low calorie. And the other thing I find is the aspect of protein and post-workout nutrition and that nutrient timing that people just don't think it's that important. And then when they're done with that program, they're like, wow, this is really what it took. And I'm not eating enough protein, and the reasons why we eat enough protein. Have you found the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, protein is our building block, right? And so, especially as we are doing more strength training and we're really, pushing our bodies to challenge ourselves, we have to give ourselves the proper nutrients to be able to repair and recover. And protein is one of those nutrients that we really have to figure out how to get that in. And like you said, I think for us, the people that come through this program, a lot of times they're very busy. They're, we have a lot of caretakers that come through, moms, teachers, nurses, and for them, it's so easy to not plan ahead and for the day to get away from them, and not eat enough, like you said. And for a lot of them, that can be it. It's not like they're eating too much. They're just not eating enough,
Right.
and then, by the end of the day, they're absolutely starving. And then, there's no way to overcome that. That's just, because you're so hungry, you're going to end up eating whatever you can, right, to fulfill that. And so
Right.
I'm really planning ahead and being proactive with it, and really, being planning out your day. And that does help a lot. So definitely writing into your journal the day before what you're planning to eat tomorrow, so that you've thought it through and you're not just winging it, right? Not just letting it, the day go and letting it get away from you. So those are definitely, a big part of the habit changing, is learning how to meal plan, how to think ahead, how to make sure you're always prepared, and always get your protein in.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned something interesting, that we sort of train about the same type of clientele. The same type of clientele come in and do the Y.E.S program. Busy, just busy women
Right.
running around, taking care of their kids, working at home, working a job, all kinds of stuff to do. And the one aspect that they don't ever think about is stress. So talk to us a little about how stress affects the body, and how without the proper de-stressing, you won't get the results you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge part of the program. And that's, it's taking some time to de-stress every single day. And I think that's something that so many people will, not make a priority. But once they do, you realize how important it is. And, I usually use the analogy of a sink and thinking about all the different stressors that are pouring into your sink. And we all have a different size sink. We know some people that can handle, like, the world on their shoulders and are fine, right? And other people, they got one little drop of stress and they're like losing it. And so, we're all different, right? We can all handle different forms of stress. And so, kind of getting an idea of how big is your sink? What do you got flowing into it? Kind of look over those taps, of, okay, can I turn any of these off, while I'm really prioritizing myself and, really changing some of my habits. And that could be financial stress. That could be, career stress. That could be, maybe something going on with your family, right? That could be like, maybe it's a new project you took on. A lot of times it's, just sometimes we need to say no, right? We need to say no to things and say, you know what, right now, no, I can't do that. I can't volunteer for my kids' my kids' program, or, because I need to really focus on me right now, or whatever it might be, right? You got to figure out your, what you can handle right then. And so really looking through your sink, figuring out how many, faucets you have pouring into it, and then making sure it doesn't start to overflow. And when it starts to overflow, that's when we start to get symptoms of stress. And so stress creates the hormone cortisol increases, and cortisol has been shown to store fat. And so we don't want our cortisol to be high, because cortisol is going to and it's actually belly fat that it will increase. And so that's why it's part of this program, because, part of dropping those 2 sizes is we want to shrink the belly and we want to feel good in our genes. And so making sure that we decrease those stress levels so that our cortisol levels are at a normal level, so that we don't have, that belly fat increasing because our body is high in cortisol, is a huge part of the program. And so definitely doing that, and not, don't get stressed out about the program. Like sometimes I think, people, they join one of the programs and they're like, oh, I need to do this perfectly. And, that's like, no, relax. Like, don't make this another stress. This is supposed to help you. And so just be aware of that, and be aware of, definitely what else you got going on in your life, and then how you can manage it. And so with that sink, also thinking about the drains that you can put into that sink. So how can you drain, your sink? And that's everything from exercise, right? Or meditating, or maybe just taking some downtime to watch the sunset every night. Whatever it might be for you, that's your breathing time. Take that time for yourself. I mean, even if it's just a 10-minute time period, which everyone can just block out 10 minutes, you'll be amazed at the difference it will make, when you take that time for yourself.
Right, right. Stress is huge. A lot of people's lives, and we need to get rid of it if we want to be successful, not just in this adventure, but just in every adventure in life. Definitely stress.
Yeah, and I mean, we're never going to get rid of it, right? So it's managing it. And like, if you're thinking of it like that sink, then you can start to, figure out, like, throughout this challenge, okay, how do I manage it? Because I mean, life's going to throw us stuff, right? Like, we never know what's going to come at us. So you always got to be good at managing that stress.
Part of that stress bowl comes from the people surrounding you. And something we always urge people is we need to make sure that you're going to surround yourself with the people who are going to help you be successful. So talk to us a little about how someone can get those people at home or at work or their friends to give them the support that's necessary to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, publicly let everybody know that you're doing it, right? And why you're doing it. And so I know that sometimes can be a really scary thing to let the people close to you know that, hey, I want to make some changes in my life, and this is really important to me, and this is why it's important to me, because I want to be healthy and strong for my kids as they get older. I want to, be able to take care of myself. I want to be independent as I age. Whatever, your motivation might be, share that with some of the people that you're close to. I mean, people that will be supportive of you. And then just ask for their help and their support. Like, hey, will you support me? And will you, through this? And hopefully they'll get inspired and say, well, what is it you're doing? And they'll say, I want to join you. Right. I mean, that's really the goal is, realizing that it's not easy to make changes. And a lot of times it's human nature to, there's a whole crab theory that I talk about in my first book, actually. And it's I've gone crab hunting before. And if you've ever gone crab hunting, you go and you get all the crabs and you put them in a big bucket. And when the crabs start to try to crawl out, we just left the bucket wide open, sitting there, and we went and had dinner. And when we came back, the crabs were all still in the bucket. And that's because if a crab tries to crawl out of the bucket, the other crabs will pull him back down into the bucket. And if he keeps trying to crawl out, then they'll actually pull his legs off and keep him in the bucket. And so it's very similar to human nature, unfortunately, because it's like if someone sees someone else succeeding, right, and doing good stuff and, getting healthier and getting fitter, well, what excuse do I have, right? Like, I'll get back down here. Let's go out for margaritas. Let's hang out and, have dessert or stay out late, skip your workout tomorrow, right? So if you start noticing that you have anybody in your circle who's a crab, then definitely take note of that. And you might want to distance yourself from those people because, they're definitely trying to pull you back down in the bucket to make themselves, realize that it's not about you, right? So when someone is doing that, they're trying to feel like they're trying to sabotage you or not support you. It's not about you, it's about them. And that just, they're not ready yet to make those changes. And so all you can do is distance yourself and keep making those changes, and hopefully eventually they'll go, oh my gosh, look, she's getting out of the bucket. I can go too, right? So that's something that we are always looking, just keep an eye on that and just make sure that you are surrounding yourself with those supportive people.
I hope that people can hear that this program isn't just about fitting into those jeans, getting those jeans to fit and walking out that door after 8 weeks. And that it's not just about a diet. It's not just about getting your butt kicked in an exercise class. It's a lot of components to it. And it takes a lot of different components to become successful. And not just in exercise, but in life itself. And these components that we do talk about and we do work on can be utilized in other parts of people's lives. So the tool that we use is a pair of jeans. And so they come in with a pair of jeans that they absolutely cannot buy. Obviously, they're like 2 inches apart. The bigger the gap, the more challenging it is, the better it is. So talk to us a little bit about how we motivate them through those 8 weeks as they try those jeans on.
Yeah, so what we've seen in the 8 weeks is people on average drop 2 sizes, so they go from a 16 to they actually go from like a 16 to a 12. So 2 full sizes. Okay. Which is big, right? So like 12 to an 8, right? Like these are big changes. And so over that time, basically when they bring those jeans in, and we do encourage you to leave them at the gym, leave them at Y.E.S Fitness so that they can hang on to them for you and hold you accountable. And that way, when you are ready to do your first try on, instead of getting on a scale, you're going to try your jeans on. And so when you do that, you're probably at that first try on going to feel like, I don't know if anything's happening. I don't know, and we do want you to promise to not get on a scale throughout the 8 weeks, because it can be discouraging, and this is all about shifting your mindset. And so as what you'll see over the 8 weeks is your body will change, and you will get to where you can fit into those jeans. And by the end of the 8 weeks, they will fit. If you follow everything that Chris and his team are telling you to do, they will fit. And so what we've seen is over the years running this program, when I have had people get on the scale backwards so I can see how much actual weight they lose, on average, they're only losing maybe 4 pounds on the scale, but they're losing 10 to 12 pounds of fat, because they're dropping 2 whole sizes from a size 16 to a 12, like I said. And so it's over 10 to 12 pounds of fat, which is not showing up on the scale. And so when that happens, if you were looking at that scale, you would be super discouraged, and you would end up not continuing or probably quitting, because so that's why it's so important to not, to let go of the scale and just to focus on how your body is changing. And what you'll see is that you will transform. And by the end, you will see, and when I say on average, they drop 4 pounds, some people drop more, but it really doesn't matter. Who cares what the scale says, right? And we've had people who didn't lose any. Like we had one lady who was she was a lifetime Weight Watcher. She did a lot of endurance, a lot of running. And so when she joined our program, started lifting weights, strength training, gaining muscle, and then fueling her body to be fabulous, which is what we're going to do during Drop 2 Sizes. She shifted that 10 pounds. She dropped 2 sizes and completely, gained 10 pounds of muscle and dropped 10 pounds of fat. And so a different person. And when you have that kind of transformation happen, because you have that muscle, it's so much easier to maintain for the long term, because now you have a higher metabolism, and now you're ready to, continue on that lifestyle for the long term.
I love the look on their faces. In the door, and they're like, can this really happen? But in week 3, they put them on and they start to fit better. And then week 6, week 8, when they put those jeans on, and they feel so good about themselves. Not just the fact that they look great in their jeans, but they've been able to accomplish something that they didn't think they could do. They didn't think you could do it at 45, 55, 60 years old. I've had an 86-year-old woman drop 2 jean sizes. So we've done at any age. You just need to do what we tell you to do.
That's awesome.
It's an awesome feeling. It's why we're in the business. It's what we do, why we do what we do.
Yep.
So,
and they're in good hands with you guys for sure. So, and that's what I love too. I love the try on parts, because that's like when you see the breakthrough, like you said, that look on their face is that breakthrough when they realize, oh my gosh, and this program, like for us, a lot of our clients, they finish this and they realize, wow, I can set a goal and I can accomplish anything I want to. And so then they go on to maybe do something else, right? They start to look at other goals they want to accomplish and start to realize that the potential of what they can accomplish. So, they're definitely in good hands with Y.E.S Fitness. And I'm excited to hear about the results for sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. So that's about all the time we have for this morning. I really appreciate you coming in and talk about this with us, giving my clients an insight, really. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was great. Thank you.
I hope you have a great day.
We'll
see you in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye.